Welcome to Moonday Yoga. A couple of announcements. I don't know if you noticed, but this channel's name has changed to Orally Yoga. So orally is an adjective, kind of like my name, Amberly. And it just came to me because in my teachings and in the way that I practice, it's always about prana, it's always about the energy, it's always about the aura. And so as we are bringing about our highest vibratory frequency, we are always working with the aura, right? All of the energy that is swimming around us, in us, and through us. And so right now I am cleansing the space around my aura, allowing a conducive atmosphere for the prana to flow and for me to become aware of the awareness in which everything is arising in this space and time. So today I was going to do a practice on the last of our chakra series, which was Sahasrara, the crown chakra. But things, shift and change in this Mahamaya, in this grand sea of illusion that we're living in, the school of life. And my body is on its menstrual cycle, on its menstrual flow, so we are going to honor the menstrual cycle today and the menstrual flow with an Apana Vayu downward moving energy of the breath to help open up the cycle. I'm going to turn off the air because it tends to be a little bit loud. So this is the fun thing about teaching in your home space, is that there's like these little nuances that kind of come up that you have to work through. It's like an ad-lib situation. So good morning. Hariom. Glad you've joined me. Hopefully you are actually joining and not just thumbing and scrolling through the different live streams. We are doing a yogasana practice having to do with restoration. Hi. Very nice to see you. I'm glad you're here. Hi, Donna. Where are you from? We are in Southern California here. I was just talking about how I've changed my yoga name to Greenville. Welcome, welcome. So Southern California, orally yoga. And the reason for that is just because we're always, always, always one with the energy flow that is working through, around, and inside of us. And so this practice is moving through Apana Vayu, which is another subtle energetic. So I was originally going to finish out the series for Sahasrara, which is the crown chakra. If you go back on my yoga videos, you'll see that there's from the root all the way up to Agya, the third eye chakra. But the cycle is here. Hi, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. How far is the state into mind? That is a beautiful question. How far is the state into mind? So if what's coming to me when you say that, Donna, how far is the state into mind, is that everything that we experience in this incarnation is always happening within us. It doesn't matter what it is, even the touch, even a physical touch, is all happening inside mind, right? The interpretation, the awareness thereof. So any sensation, sight, sound, touch, taste, smell, the linear sensations, those are all being interpreted through the brain, which is a part of mind. But there is some other subtle awareness behind that animation behind the eyes. Maybe if you close down your eyes for a moment. Oh, I see, okay. So it seems that she's asking more of a non-deep question and more of an actual physical geographic question. Apologies, Donna. So she's asking how many hours away. So Greenville, are you talking about Greenville, Alabama, or where at exactly Greenville? Because Southern California is the southwestern part of western United States, and I'm not sure exactly where you are. Hi, good morning. So anyway, let's get to our practice. We are doing a restoration practice of yoga today, and the reason for that is just to really be moving energy down and in to help our menstrual flows. So there are going to be quite a few props if you are joining me today to practice yoga. So we're going to use, of course, get on our mats, but we're going to use a bolster today and 4 pillows, unless you have a bunch of yoga blankets like this. So these blankets are really nice because they fold real easy. So you can take them, fold them out. You know, this is like, well, I mean, it's like a twin size blanket. So these are really nice to work with whenever you are doing restorative yoga, yin yoga, just working with props. So if you fold it in half long ways, and then fold it in half again, and then fold it in half again, that's a standard fold. Now if you fold it in half one more time like this, that is like your typical standard fold that gives you enough thickness where it helps support like your neck, sometimes lower back, sometimes back of the knees, things like that. Another fold is a long standard fold like this one. Okay, so these are really nice to have. Grab a block if you have one. Grab a strap. You'll definitely need one. I like coming on live because we never know where we are. I'm wondering when you say how many hours away, like where Greenville, because there's a few different Greenvilles. So I would love to hear, because yeah, we're meeting each other where we are, and like Ram Dass says, we're all walking each other home. And I think that that is such a beautiful notion, because we're here on this great plane of the universe, and we're learning through Earth School together. So you're going to want to block, and you're going to want to open it up pretty wide. So you'll want either 4 blankets, or you'll want like some pillows work too, and you can just fold them over like this. What you'll want for those, you'll want a bolster for sure. We're going to go through 6 different asanas today, and I'm adapting this restorative yoga practice from Relax and Renew. I put that in the description if you guys are curious, from Judith Lassiter. She's amazing. Yes, I am a yoga teacher. I'm a Hatha yoga teacher. Thank you for asking. I have been a yoga practitioner for over 20 years, and I don't know, 5 years ago decided that I was going to start teaching yoga. And yeah, it's a part of a big project that I have to open a holistic health center. And we are slowly working on that. We have a brick and mortar, yay. We're calling the community Heart Song Community, with the ART capitalized, because we really work with art therapy. And we have a lot of different workshops. Yoga is just, I mean, when I teach yoga, I teach Hatha yoga, but I also teach Raja yoga. So I teach about the 8-limbed path. And asana is the 3rd limb of the 8-limbed path of yoga, which has to do with like the postures and the movement. But there's so much more. It's so much deeper than that on living a yogic lifestyle. And so that's really what I like to teach. How old am I? Well, I have a 22-year-old son, and a 10-and-a-half-year-old son. So that should give you a little bit of an idea of how old I am. But I do take care of my face. So it's very good always to take care of your body, mind, and spirit. And that is really the premise of a yogic lifestyle, is how to control body, mind, and come back to spirit. Come back to remembering who you really are. So we will be using Judith Lassiter's rest and restore type of techniques. And there will be 6 different asanas that we go into. So the first one is called supported bound angle. That's when we will be using our strap, and like the only time really that we're going to be using our strap is the very beginning. So now, just to give like a forewarning, if you are coming to your mat and you're learning from this, this could be a workshop for you, and that's fine too. Just note that I do a lot of talking throughout, so because I am teaching you, but once we get into these asanas, they're going to be held for about 5 to 10 minutes each. So just know that each asana will be held for quite a long time, so it's more of an intermediate to advanced yogasana practice. A lot of the times we want to move our bodies consistently and flow with the breath. That is more of a vinyasa flow or hatha yoga flow. But today, to honor the menstrual cycle and to honor the Apana Vayu, the downward flow of energy, we are doing a restorative yoga practice. So hopefully you're down with that. And again, 6 different postures, 5 to 10 minutes held each. So it's not going to be like a whole hour-long series possibly. And the 6 different postures are the supported bound angle, reclined cross-leg pose, which is very similar to supported bound angle. And then we're going to counter those with a supported forward bound angle pose, and then supported seated angle pose, which is more like opening up the legs wide, seated angle pose and forward. And then we're going to go into a supported child's pose with bolster in front. And then the last part will just be your basic relaxation pose with the calves supported, and will likely be in that Shavasana basic relaxation pose for the longest out of all of them. Okay, so hopefully you're down with that. Now, really the theme about this moon cycle yoga class is prana. So just basic prana. But what is prana? And where, like, when we're talking about the Vayus, I want to just open up your awareness to what the Vayu means. Vayu is wind. So when we are moving breath, right, we are moving prana. We're moving the energy. When I have a cat that will not stop me yelling. So Robbie, why do you have to be such a needy little kitty? He's going to come here and he's going to end up being the star of the show, I promise. So, Vayu, wind, energy, prana. And it's all moving through our body and into a physical essence of our body in a different way. So with the Vayus, other than prana, we have the apana, we have samana, we have udana, and we have vyana. So the prana is really held, like if you were to take just a deep breath really fast. Where does the energy go immediately as soon as you take that deep breath? Into the chest usually, right? So immediately prana comes in through the chest. And then as soon as it hits the chest, it goes up into our head. So we can direct that prana by different awarenesses. So that's called pranadharana. So where the mind goes, the energy will flow. So with Apana Vayu, that is really when you're taking in your breath, you're relaxing your abdomen, relax your abdomen. Maybe you put your hand at your abdomen and you breathe into that space. automatically the chest will open, right? And then the collarbones expand a little bit. But if you bring the awareness down to your lower abdominals, again, take a deep breath in. Now you're allowing the air to come into your abdomen, across your chest, across your collarbones, and up into your head. Okay, so now you're moving the energy, but you're feeling it first into your pelvis. That Apana Vayu is really governing your elimination, which is really important. I mean, we have, like, what comes in must go out, right? We need to be able to eliminate. And more so, this downward, outward movement is necessary. And so when we keep all of our asanas focused on downward movement, meaning, like, if you noticed, none of these movements are standing up and none of the movements are bringing the energy up and out. Instead, we are bringing the energy down and in, okay? Down and in. So we're working with Apana Vayu with prana, okay? Now the other ones, just to mention, are like samana, which is having to do with your navel. So that's really about assimilation. It's about building up. So now instead of moving down, we're moving across. And that Samana Vayu is really moving and assimilating and directing our construct of amino acids. So like a DNA expression will then produce through RNA a transcription of the DNA. Long story short, we're making amino acids that make proteins. Proteins are hormones. Proteins are the structure on the outsides of our cells that receive as receptors, like a lock and key, an enzyme or a neurotransmitter that then opens up a channel to allow the assimilation process to happen. So like the food that we eat, even the energy that we take in from the sun, so that photosynthetic energy is also going into our cells and giving the cell energy to do work, right? To make more amino acids so that our body can continue to act. Okay, so that is that samana assimilation. You're also working with like discernment through that, right? You're really discerning through what it is that you want to take in energetically. And then how you want all of the energy to assimilate for you. So that a lot of that is epigenetics, a lot of that is biofeedback, and that is really what we're doing in our asana practices, is we are working with biofeedback to be able to, like with proprioception, you know, feeling into where we are in space and time, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, and how it is that we want our future selves to be in the present now. And then when we have that intention in place, that sankalpa, we focus on that intention and we call it forth. Because we have that power. We absolutely have the power to do so. It's just a training. And so this practice, yoga, is a training. It is a technology and it's a technique. So through prana, through movement, through the breath, you know, prana, we are able to express new genes. So, and then the udana. The udana is really up here in the throat, so we're moving even more up and out with our energy, governing growth in speech and expression and ascension, moving up. So udana is really that upward movement, upward and outward movement. We get that a lot in our brahmana practices, right? We get that a lot when we are chanting. We get that a lot when we are heavily breathing through like Kapalabhati or like skull shining breath. Yeah, it's it can be really intense, but like our Brahmana practices are really heating and upward and outward moving. This is more of a Langana practice that we are going into. Totally opposite than the Upana breath. So Upana, or Udana rather, versus Apana are opposites of one another. So we are working with Apana today. And then the last one is Vyana, which is really the Vayu of the whole body. So like when we are moving all of the energy through, you know, circulation and expansiveness, when we're warming the blood, we're working with that Vyana Vayu. Okay, so why did I bring all of that up? Because I really like to educate, and I'd like you to know about like what we are doing and why we're working with the things that we're working with. So in this case, like I was saying in the beginning, the theme is having to do with prana, because we are honoring the governance of the Apana Vayu, or the downward flow of energy for our moon cycles. So another thing that I wanted to mention about like this particular way, and I don't want to like booger up what Judith Lassiter said, so I'm literally going to read from her book, like word for word. She says that, and she calls this series, like I called it something a little bit different, but she calls it the Moon Club series. I like that. She says the Moon Club series assists the body in releasing the menstrual flow, reducing fatigue and moderating hormonal shifts. It can be practiced throughout menstruation. Some women find it helpful to begin the series the day before bleeding begins. In addition, the Moon Club series may be beneficial for premenstrual syndrome, endometriosis, and irregular periods. So the series consists of 6 restorative poses designed to open the abdomen and alleviate cramps and lower back discomfort. It begins with an extroverted emphasis and moves to a more introverted one. Supported back bends followed by quiet forward bends, and ending with a variation of basic relaxation pose. Takes about 20 minutes, and you can practice for as long as 60 minutes. So what we're going to do is somewhere in between, about 40 minutes or so. And she says, in general, a well-sequenced restorative yoga practice should include an inverted pose. However, women should not practice inverted poses during menstruation. So that was what I was talking about. Like, we want to honor the flow of like the natural flows of energy in our body, right? Like, so the reason that I brought up the Vayus is because naturally we have those winds or movements of energy that are running through our systems. And right now, as females, when the menstrual flow is happening, we're trying to move the energy down and out, not up and out, but down and out. Okay, so by doing these particular asanas that I'm going to cue, they are enabling that. They are calling forth that downward Apana Vayu. All right. So again, if you haven't been here with me since the beginning, sorry I ramble. You're going to want some blankets. If you don't have 4 of these yoga blankets, you can also use some pillows. So you're going to want 4 of these pillows that you can easily like bend and shape, because you're going to want to put those under your legs and under your arms. You're also going to want a bolster. And it doesn't have to be a long bolster necessarily. This is like a medium-sized bolster. You'll want one of those. And a strap, because we're going to go into a supported down angle pose. So you want a strap, and it's pretty simple the way that you put it together. Like if your strap is already open, then you've got 2 little rings. Let me come closer. So if you have your 2 rings, you have your strap. You just take the strap, put it through both rings, and then put the strap through the top of the ring that's closest to where you put it out through, and then feed it through. And that's how you use your strap, okay? All right. So before we begin, we always do an invocation. So I encourage you now to settle in to your space that you've created for yourself. I'll give you another 30 seconds or so to get all of your props together. And just come into Siddhasana or Sukhasana, your easy seat, easy pose. And begin to settle into the space beneath you. Just feel the space beneath you. Wiggle your toes a little bit. Feel the support of Earth Mother as you center and ground into the space beneath you. Drop your shoulders away from your ears. Maybe you lower your gaze or you close your eyes down. And begin to take notice of your breath here. Allow your belly to disengage. And be with your breath. Allowing the breath to come all the way into the belly. And let it all go. Bring your fingertips to the earth on either side of you and just feel Earth Mother, feel the space beneath you. And just notice how your body is feeling in space and time right now. How does your physical body feel in space and time? Feel the air on your skin. Notice your lower back, your hips, your neck, shoulders, arms, your forehead. No judgments, just noticing the way that you're feeling physically. Feel rooted and supported with your fingertips on the earth. And be here right now. Let go of all that which came with you into this practice. All of your expectations, all of your worries, all of your doubts, any insecurities, let them go. Open up to receive. Open up to the ear behind the ear and what it has to say. Notice the way that your mind is producing its thoughts. Notice if they're open. Or maybe they are closed. How do you want to show up for your practice today? How do you want to show up for yourself to vibrate at your highest frequency? Inhale, bring your hands up overhead. Bring your palms together and exhale your hands down to your heart center. Again, inhale, hands come up overhead. And exhale them down to heart center. One more just like that, inhaling up deep. And exhale the hands down to the heart. Keep your gaze lowered or your eyes closed. Hands in prayer over the heart. And we begin with 3 ohms together. So inhale deep. And exhale into Om. Another inhalation. One more. Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Satchitananda Murtaye Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase Niralambam Samashritya Salambam Vijahatiya Sasamyasi cha yogi cha Kaivalyam Param Ashnute. Inhale deep. And exhale Om. Bow to your heart. Bow to the Supreme Soul. Create some friction between your palms. And place that heat over your face. Maybe you feel the prana running through your fingers, through your hands, and through your body. Again, rub your palms together, create some friction, some heat. Place them over your face. Maybe you feel that energy, that prana moving through you. One more time. And as you place your fingers over your eyes, just peel back your fingertips from your eyelids and allow your eyes to open to a new awareness, a new nowness in this atmosphere that you've created for yourself. And be here now. And when you're ready, come off of your bolster if you're on it, and we will begin. All right, so what we're going to do first is the supported bound angle pose. We don't want our heads to be too high or too low, and we want our forehead to be higher than our chins, and our chins higher than the breastbone, and the breastbone higher than the pubic bone. Okay, so that is the goal of this asana. You see, I told you he was going to be the star of the show by the end. You're silly kitty. So before we get into like our main bound angle, what we want to do is like get ourselves set up first. So you're going to put the short side of your bolster, so long ways across the back, but you're sitting like at the short side of the bolster, okay? So then you're going to take your pillows or your blankets, and you're kind of at the 4 areas of your legs and arms. So what's going to happen here is you want to have, and this is like kind of the end part, but you want to have a couple of like blankets, or this is where your block comes in handy. If you have a block and a blanket, you can put like your block down and then the blanket on top of it, but this is for your head. So your neck needs to be supported, but like I was saying, the head isn't too high or too low, and the forehead is going to be higher than your chin. Okay, so you want that support, but at the same time, you like, okay, so let me make sure that you can see me, okay? This is the awkward part about doing this online, I tell you what. But I'm glad to be able to bring this practice to whoever has it available to them from YouTube. I think that's great. So when we come down, our back is right against the short side of our bolster, and we come down where we're like adjusting. Yeah, that's not going to be enough. So I really encourage you to use your block and then a couple blankets. The 2 blankets might actually be too much. Let's see. No, that's good. So what's happening here is our torso is about 45 degrees at an angle from the mat, okay? And then from there, like our forehead is a little bit higher than our chin, but the chin is a little bit higher than the chest bone, and the chest bone is a little bit higher than our pelvis. That's how we want ourselves to be in this asana. The other thing is where your knees are going to drop. So eventually, when we put the strap on, okay, Swabby, your knees, your feet are going to come together, sole to sole, and your knees are going to drop out on the blanket or on the pillows if you have those. So what you're doing is you're creating an atmosphere for yourself where you're not feeling the stretch, but more you're just allowing the fascia to open on its own naturally. So you're not even feeling any strain whatsoever in the pose, because we're going to be in this pose for about 10 minutes. So you're just opening up to, so I would like diamond out if you have pillows for your shoulders and your arms, but you want your shoulders and arms to be kind of at a, like right on each other, and you're teeing out your arms so you don't feel any impingement in between your shoulder blades here. So if you feel good about that, then just roll kind of over to one side and bring yourself back up. Now that you have your space set up where your neck is supported, and like I was saying about the whole energy flow, okay, now you're going to take your strap and you're going to open it up to where you don't have the metal part on your ankles, okay, but you want to be able to pull this strap tighter. So you're going to put it around your feet, but don't put the metal like right on the foot, okay? But now when you silly kitty, when you open it, so you're opening it up wide enough to where this is going to be able to go over the back of you and over your feet at the same time. So let me show you what that means, what that looks like. Okay, so once it's open, now you're placing it over your body to where now this strap is at the lower portion of your back, okay? Now you can pull this. I like to have mine a little bit like down more towards my foot as far as the ring. And then you just start to pull to where it's now supporting your feet, where your heels are together and the balls of your feet are together, and you're bringing your heels as close to your sit bones as possible. And you want your knees on either side, make sure that they are parallel with one another, so not one up higher than the other one on either side. Excuse me. So I like to like flip my blankets to where they're like folded, diamond shaped. or I keep saying blankets, blankets, pillows, and just put that like right under my knees like that. Okay, so now I'm set up to where I have my strap on. Everything else was already set up. So now I'm going to lower myself down onto the bolster. And already you can feel this opening and widening right at the pelvis, right at the lower back. This really helps with premenstrual syndrome, cramping, endometriosis. It's an amazing Apana Vayu asana. Just this one pose can be so restorative. You try it with me. You just bring out your arms to a T over the pillows. So again, your knees are parallel to one another and just allowing them to be supported by the pillows or the blankets beneath them. Your forehead is a little bit higher than your chin. Your chin is a little bit higher than your breastbone. And the breastbone is a little bit higher than the pelvic bone. And your torso is at a 45-degree angle from the earth. Once you get situated and settled into your asana, supported bound angle pose, just settle into the space beneath you. Feel that support. Take in a breath and let it all go. Just notice the normal rhythm of your inhalations and exhalations as they come in and out through your nose. Maybe you notice the coolness of air as it runs in through your nostrils. And feel the warmth as it expands into your chest and into your belly. And feel the coolness again inside your chest and belly as the air releases. Maybe you begin to count your breaths. Maybe you count 4 seconds in and 4 seconds out. Four seconds in, 4 seconds out. And continue with your centered breathing. 4 counts in. Notice a natural hold at the top of your breath. And 4 counts out. Noticing a pause before you inhale your next breath. yourself to feel completely supported and melt into the space beneath you. Supporting a gentle back bend here. Allowing for an opening in the gentle flow of energy moving down and out through your root chakra, through your pelvis. Really breathe into your belly. There's nowhere that you need to go at this moment, nothing that needs to be done. All you have at this moment right here is you and your breath. Stillness in this moment. Continue holding the pose. When I think of being in supported bound angle pose and when I'm feeling into this space, my affirmation for it is, excuse me, I surrender. And every out breath is just I surrender. I release and I let go. I let the spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. And I am here to serve. Notice the sensations at the lower back. Notice the opening and expansion and releasing on the back side of your pelvis. Notice as you take your breath in that the energy flows downward. That the energy flows downward. Right into your pelvic bowl. Imagine a golden pouring of light as your breath moves through you into your pelvic bowl. Like a ray of sunshine warming you. Like the golden rays of pure light and love, warmth and comfort. And that is your breath as it pours into you now. A few more intentional breaths as you breathe into your pelvic bowl. Preparing yourself for the next asana. Begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. And bring yourself back. Open your eyes for a moment. And roll yourself onto one side. And roll yourself back up. And as you find yourself back up, now you're going to loosen your strap. Begin to loosen the strap and take it away from the feet. And you can take the strap off of you now and set it aside. You can keep all of your blankets or pillows the same way. The only difference now is that you're going to cross your feet over one another. So I'll take away the pillow so you can see what I'm doing here. But so before, we had our feet together like we would be doing a butterfly pose. But now we're going to cross the ankles over one another. And it doesn't matter which ankle crosses over because halfway through we're going to switch over the ankles from one another. So again, we are supporting our asana practice with props. So if you have the pillows, you're just folding them in half, diamond-wise, and putting them right under your legs for support. Not a kitty cat. No, you can't lay there. Go on. And so your ankles are just right over one another, and you're going to come right back down onto your bolster. Okay? And as you are in this asana now, you're feeling a little more free than that supported bound angle pose. Okay? And yet you still feel that support at your lower back and your lower abdominals here. So this particular pose is called the reclined cross legs pose. And what excuse me, Judith Lassiter talks about in this book, she says that as you go into the pose, so let's find ourselves there. Remember that your ankles are stacked over one another, so not like stacked, but they're crossed, and it doesn't matter which one is crossed over because halfway through we're going to cross over the opposite way. So you want your knees to be parallel with one another, not one up and one down, so they're evenly dispersed and supported with either some sort of a prop, either pillows or blankets. And you don't want to feel any kind of impingement in the sacroiliac joint here. So you want to make sure that these are nice and supported because this is a very vulnerable position for the sacroiliac joint. Then you're bringing your arms out to a T, supported also by blankets or pillows. And then again, your forehead is higher than your chin. Chin is higher than your chest. Chest is higher than your pelvis. Okay, and your torso is again at a 45-degree angle from the earth. And as you rest and nestle into this asana, just take note of the breath. Take note of the way that the energy is flowing through you, through your breath. Notice that it's flowing down into your pelvis region. And allow all of the energy, all of the prana that is no longer serving you at this moment for your highest good to go through your tailbone and back into Earth Mother. Just give it back to her now. Give it back as an offering, as you know that she can transfer and transform that energy. She can transform and transfer the energy back into you in its conducive state. So you exhale the energy that no longer serves you through your tailbone. Allow Earth Mother to take it in and transform it. And when you take another breath in, that is that new awareness, that new prana that is running through you as you. And just continue to let out that which no longer serves until you feel that you have cleansed yourself. Allow your back to feel supported here. And your neck, your shoulders. And as always, adjust yourself if needed. Don't stay in an asana if you feel discomfort in any way. You know, you can move your shoulders, you can move your neck, you can adjust your props, whatever is needed for you to be in this asana that is not giving any sort of strain to your body, physically, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually. Allowing yourself to open up. And when you feel ready, maybe you imagine a lotus flower in its budded state, just beginning to open up its petals. And as you picture this flower in your mind's eye, open each petal one at a time. And as the flower blossoms and blooms and opens, imagine your cervix, which is right at the base of your uterus, opening, expanding, and releasing. Just like a flower in bloom. Your cervix opens, it allows the prana to flow through it, down and out. Maybe you feel that any discomfort of cramping starts to wither away as you imagine this beautiful flower in bloom, blossoming and blossoming, each petal opening further out and further out. Good, and switch your ankles. So slowly bring the bottoms of your feet to the earth and bring the ankle that was at the top before down to the bottom, and the ankle that was at the bottom before to the top. And again, settle into the space with full support under your legs, under your knees, and under your arms, and under your back and your neck. One thing you can do if your lower back is feeling any sort of discomfort is you can add a standard fold blanket at your sacrum or your root chakra, right at the tailbone. Allow your shoulders to relax and your neck to melt into the space beneath you. Feel the support on the back of your head. And again, envision your flower opening petal by petal. And take that image now and bring it down to your cervix and allow your cervix to open like the petals of a flower. Opening, expanding, ever blossoming, allowing the flow down and out. you're ready, begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Maybe rock your head from side to side. Open your eyes. And roll yourself onto one side. And support your way up. Back to a seated position for a moment. So, what did I do? We're going into the supported forward bound angle pose now. So supported forward bound angle is basically keeping as we are. The difference is that we will be bringing our heels back together and bringing the bolster to the front of us. Okay, so it's going to go over our feet. And then bring a blanket to the front as well. And what you're going to do is, as you feel the support of the blankets underneath your legs, you're just going to lean forward and give yourself a little counter pose from the pose that you were just in. And allow your forehead to rest gently on the blanket in front of you. Your hands can be up here. Your hands can be down under the bolster, or they can be on the front portion of the bolster, whatever is comfortable for you. Just allow your pelvis, your pelvic region to open up here, and that's where your prana is going. That's where the prana is going. So where the mind goes, the energy flows. So you're just bringing your forehead down. You're allowing your lower back, as it was doing that subtle supported back bend before, is a counter pose now, where it's rolling the lower spine down. And you're just taking note that the pelvic region is now opening. Your hips are widening, but your legs are supported by the blankets or the pillows on either side of your knees here. So we'll stay here for about 5 minutes. Just noticing the sensations of your physical body in this posture. Adjusting as needed. And as you notice the physical sensations, begin to come inward to the energetic sensations of your breath. Allow the breath to come in through the back of your neck, into the middle of your shoulders, in between your shoulders. Expanding and extending the breath onto the back body here. Allow your belly to get really big and engaged. And let it all out. Again, deep inhalation into the back body. All the way on tops of your shoulders, and let it all go. Down to your pelvic region. Inhale through your back body. All the way down to the lower back. And let it all go. Be with your breath here. However that looks to you. Open up. Breathe into the stillness. Begin to breathe normally now and just notice your breath, the normal occurrence of your breath as you inhale and exhale. Just watch it come and go. Take an inhalation and push your body up with your hands. Move out the blankets or pillows from your legs now and widen your legs to a V shape. And keep the bolster right in front of you and lower down onto your bolster now. Bring just one cheek to the mat or to your bolster. And just feel the subtle sensations on the back sides of your legs here. Allow your feet to be relaxed. If this is too much, you can always bring a blanket underneath your sit bones here. You can bring a blanket under your sit bones like this. Just giving yourself a little bit of a prop up and then come back down like that. But you're allowing your ankles and your shins to be disengaged. So you're more in a very passive asana here. So normally I would tell you to lift and spread your toes here. But here I am telling you to passively be in this asana, allowing the opening and the energy to not be in the toes, but to be at the pelvic region, right at your sit bones, right in between your thighs, on the medial aspect of your thighs. Just feel the prana and the energy going right to your cervix, right to your pelvis. Breathe into that space. Your arms can be on either side of the bolster. They can be reaching forward on the front portion of the bolster. However is comfortable for your shoulders and your arms. Just bring the energy to the breath and down into your pelvis. Inhale and switch sides so your cheek on the opposite end comes to your blanket or bolster. And breathe. Maybe you bring your forehead to the bolster now to even out between your left and right Ida and Pingala nadi channel. Just bring your forehead down your bolster. And on your exhale, push your body up with your hands. Bring yourself back up to a seated position. And we will go into our supported child's pose here. So come onto our knees. Now, the way that Judith Lassiter talks about getting into a supported child's pose is to take your blanket. Remember how I was saying in the very beginning of class that if you have your blanket wide, then you fold it in half long ways. Fold it in half again. So have a blanket like that on your mat. And then another blanket so when you folded it in half long ways and fold it in half again, now fold it in half long ways again like this. And bring it to your heels, or your ankles rather, okay? So your ankles will be on that like this, you see? And then you're going to bring your bolster out in front of you to be right in between your legs. Okay, so your big toes are touching here. And then you come forward. I would recommend using, if you don't have another blanket, then you can use a pillow. And you're just going to come over the pillow like this. And this is your, so if you have like a sandbag, you can put that at your lower back here, right at the lower back. That feels really nice to just have a little bit of weight on the lower back here. You can also use a weighted blanket, but ideally you don't want like too much weight. This one is like 25 pounds, but weighted blankets are nice. You can like take it, come down, have your ankles supported, right? Come down and have this on your lower back. Like that. That's kind of nice. But personally, like having something on my lower back puts too much pressure on my hips. So I listen to my body, as I recommend for you to do as well. Whatever your body is saying, yes, I would like this, go for it. As long as it's not hypermobile and hurting you, it's absolutely valid. So we'll stay here for a few minutes, and then we'll come into our basic relaxation Shavasana pose. Again, come back to your breath. And come back to the support of the posture. This is another asana that I tend to use the affirmation, I surrender, in. Any version of Balasana or child's pose is really about surrender. Just breathe into your lower back here. allowing for the gentle openness, for rejuvenation and restoration. For aiding our menstrual cycles. With the downward and outward flow of the Apana Vayu. And just breathe into your back body, into your lower back body, and directly into your pelvis. Begin to bring yourself back up, and we will go into our Shavasana. So this is the basic relaxation pose with calves supported. That's what Judith Lassiter calls this. So we get rid of the bolster now, and we're going to use a blanket at our heads and a blanket at our calves. And if you would like to take a blanket over your body because the body temperature tends to drop here, you're more than welcome to do that. And if you take your blanket, after you fold it in half again, if you put it long ways and then just give yourself a little roll at the top, that would be your support for your neck here and your head. Okay. And then you just take a standard fold for your calves here. So ideally, you could take, a weighted blanket or a regular blanket and just put it over your body to allow yourself a little bit of comfort and warmth, because your body temperature will drop in this asana, or any restorative asana for that matter. And the weight itself really just helps drop you and ground you in a little bit more. So hopefully you'll be able to see me okay. But this is the last of our asana, and you are welcome to stay in it as long as you would like. But I wouldn't go more, honestly, I wouldn't go any more than like 20 minutes in it. So between 5 and 20 minutes, you're good in this asana, okay? Okay, so you bring yourself back. You have your neck supported, you have your head supported, you have your calves supported, and maybe you bring a weighted blanket or a blanket over your body here, and you bring your hands, palms facing upward on either side of you. And just feel the space beneath you. Feel the support behind your calves, behind your head and neck, over your body. Allow your ankles to roll out on either side. Allow your legs to get heavy and melt into the space beneath you. Allow your hips drop down. Allow your lower back to feel supported and rooted and anchored into the space beneath you. And back to your breath. Allow your chest to expand with your inhalation and to drop as you exhale it all out. Your shoulders and your arms and your hands are all supported by the space beneath you. Up your shoulders into your neck and the back of your head. Melted, stable, and secure. Just be with your breath here. Bring yourself back to your physical body by inviting in the breath. Begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes, and rock your head from side to side. Lift up your feet onto the earth. Knees are bent. You're in constructive rest. Roll over to one side, whichever is calling to you right now. And stay there for a moment. Maybe you use your hands as a pillow underneath your head. Slowly begin to support yourself back up to your Sukhasana, or your easy seat. was that for you? I do hope that you received a very powerful and beneficial practice today, moving the flow of prana energy down and out for your moon cycle. So these were 6 asanas that you can practice on your own, and you don't need to do them for 20 minutes each, but if you were to spend 5 or 10 minutes in each asana with the intentions of really opening up and expanding through your womb space, now you're allowing the energy to flow down and out the Apana Vayu to help with your menstrual cycles, to help with cramping, to help release any impurities that no longer serve you. Give them back to Earth Mother so that then she can transform them into something beautiful. So we will end with a benediction that says, lead us from real to the unreal to real, from the darkness to light, and from death to immortality. Asato ma satgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityorma mritangamaya. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Hari Om. Thank you for joining me. Next week we will finish out our chakra series of subtle energetics, so look forward to that, definitely. Can I see them? Are you? Sorry, I'm reading some of the things in the chat here, trying to. How many hours away? Oh, so far away. Thank you for joining. Anyway, so we will finish out our series. It will be on Sahasrara, so our crown chakra, next week. Sorry that we weren't able to do it this week, but you know, nature is an interesting thing and always learning from her, but we can honor her and we can utilize her to the best of our ability by becoming more aware of the proper flows of energy in our bodies, which was what the first part of this class was about, and how we can work with those flows to be able to bring about the best conducive atmosphere for this body, mind, spirit. So thank you so much, and I will see you next week. If you have any questions, please email me. If you wanted to do any private sessions where I customize a yogic plan for you, you can always go to my website, www.soulandsunapothecary.com. It's down in the description. And you can email me, info@soulandsunapothecary.com, and I will get back to you as soon as possible about when we can set up a time and space for us to work together. Okay? So thank you so much for joining me. Hari Om. I'll see you around.